Well, first off, thanks to all of you that took to Facebook and the show's Facebook fan page to post your questions for this week's Facebook Friday Q&A. Let's get started here. Evan Seberg asked, it seems like gimmick characters uh, can't get over as a main eventer in today's first name, last name centered wrestling business. Do you see a change in this in the near future, if at all? I think that they can get over. I think it's more so the business as a whole being out of lockstep and touch with reality, especially since you figure there's been such a movement towards superhero and comic book movies and TV shows in recent years. You would think there would be more emphasis on these one name characters and getting away from that first name, last name business. Not saying that first name, last name guys can't work either. I'm just saying, but you have seen the WWE at least with guys like Ryback and guys like Big E and Cesaro and Rusev go to the kind of one name thing, but it's also about the push too. It's about a lot of different things, but I do think it's something we should see more of, and I think we should get away from those first name, last name wrestlers. Tane Nakora, are RVD's matches against Jerry Lynn and ECW overrated? I think so. I never understood why they became such internet classics and still are to this day. Well, they were good, but I didn't think they were that good. And to be fair, maybe that's more so because I used to be a big RVD fan, and that is no longer the case. And I never was a Jerry Lynn fan, and that is still the case. Dean McCarthy, your thoughts on Kevin Steen's debut in WWE? Um, I haven't actually paid attention. Does he actually debut down in NXT? I haven't watched NXT the past couple of weeks. I've kind of fallen off on that. In terms of Kevin Steen's actual debut, like on main WWE, I can't wait to see it. I want to see where they go. I want to see what happens. Roland Firefly Noir asks, how much are you willing to pay to see Triple H versus John Cena in a buried alive match? And don't say $9.99, damn it. To see the two of them wrestle, I will pay nothing. To see the two of them engage in a 1 hour Iron Man political backstage session, I would pay $99.99. You want to talk about some shit that should really main event SummerSlam? Triple H, John Cena in a 1 hour Iron Man backstage politicking battle. Oh, fucking Christ. This would be incredible. You know, Triple H could bring in Shawn Michaels to teach him things, and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and John Cena could turn to people like Bret Hart and Stone Cold and the immortal Hulk Hogan. Could you imagine the possibilities? That's something that everybody would want to fucking see, I would think. Well, I know I sure would. Let's see here. Chase Oliver. Do you feel people are giving Triple H too much praise for his recent signings of Kevin Steen, Prince Devitt, and Kenta? Yes, and the reason I say that is, remember Sin Cara was a big, huge signing. Mystico's coming to the WWE. We haven't seen what they're going to do with these guys, what type of characters they're going to give these guys, what type of gimmick they're going to give these guys. We haven't seen any of that. I mean, you could praise them for going out there and recognizing some talent and bringing them into the fold. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But, yeah, let's not heap too much praise on them just yet. You guys might like Steen and Kenta and Devitt, but if the WWE gives them shit, that doesn't mean that they'll be big stars. Let's see here. Joshua Pleasant Jr., when is the time where you'll reunite with the old OTRS guys for one more show? I'm sure at some point in time I make a trip back to Iowa to visit them. That'll be when you'll get some type of big reunion show, and I can't wait for that to happen someday. I think that would be personally freaking awesome. Jon Snow, assuming Kane would retire after WrestleMania 31, how would you book the rest of his career? I wouldn't. Be like, thanks, Kane. See you later. Just saying. Just saying. S.A. Ikuku, excuse me. I hope I didn't mispronounce it, but if I did, it happens. Who do you think will win between Orton and Reigns? Well, I'd assume Roman Reigns. I don't even see a reason why Orton should win that match at this point in time. Let's see here. Anthony Urcole, the Urkinator, asked, do you think black wrestlers have a better chance of getting over the less racist, stereotypical their gimmick is? No, because in the WWE, especially, it seems like if you get that stereotypical gimmick, they'll at least give you a shot and at least try to push you. You know, so Yeah, whereas opposed if they put Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston and Big E together in a faction, they'll drop it after a couple weeks. So I'm just saying, in theory, yes, but the practicality is it still involves the WWE machine, and the WWE machine is ultimately going to push who they want and when. Mitch Lopez asked, do you think if they have Cena tap out to Lesnar at SummerSlam, would the WWE do the sympathy look with Cena? Tried to do like Triple H back in 2012. I don't think he's tapping out. I'd be stunned if he tapped out, even though he should tap out. I'm assuming he'd take an F5 and get pinned. For Cena and the WWE, they view a pinfall as not being nearly as bad as Cena's never give up attitude, giving up. Tom Volpe asked, what happens to the WWE if the WWE Network fails and they have to get rid of it? A disaster. Big problems. Big problems. They're pretty much all in on it. They can't just have it go away. I mean, it would get to the point where it would be a dramatic shift in the philosophy of the business of the WWE, the structure of the infrastructure of the WWE, and most of the top-level management would easily be gone, and you'd probably see the company sold at that point in time. Yarvis, the realist alive. Why is The Rock versus Austin feud so overrated? I mean, they had great matches and drew a lot, but the feud was just a branch off of Austin and McMahon. Let me keep it real with you for a second. Here's what you just said. They had great matches and drew a lot. How is that feud overrated? They had great matches, and this is what you said, and they drew a lot, which they definitely did draw a lot. If they drew a lot of money, how is the feud overrated? And frankly, I don't think anybody with a brain actually sits there and considers Austin versus The Rock the greatest rivalry in WWE history. I think a lot of people would agree that that's definitely not The Rock's best feud of all time. People point to his feud with Triple H or Mick Foley or even Chris Jericho, perhaps. In terms of Austin, everybody always point to, I would think, his feud versus McMahon. So is it one of the better feuds in WWE history? Well, there's no question. It involved the two key participants of the Attitude Era, not named Vince McMahon. But I don't think it's overrated. You said yourself they had great matches and drew a lot of money. What more do you want out of it? Let's see here. Tim Solomon, what are your opinions on Bruce Blitz? I really don't have much, honestly. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't pay attention to a lot of other YWC people anymore in general, whether they be guys with huge followings, guys with small followings. There are a few that I pay attention to here and there. I don't watch a lot of other YWC videos. I just don't feel the urge to. And frankly, in part, that's because I think so many videos have gotten so long and so boring and so repetitive and so long. But he has his audience. He does his thing. His audience likes his thing. So there's no reason for him to change his thing. If his audience, his niche, his market share, if you will, likes what he's doing, then that's what he should continue to do. The only thing I think I've ever really truly disagreed with Bruce Blitz on is the whole notion, I'm not even sure if he's the one that started it, it was the whole thing of walking out during a Cena match is going to send a message. No, that sends no message at all because you've still paid the WWE your money to get into the event. They've still taken your money and firmly planted it in their hashtag ass pocket. But other than that, I don't have any problems. I don't have any gripes with him. I don't know, is this a thing of people want to sit there and always look to start stuff or look for stupid YWC feuds or drama or whatever the hell you want to call it, because even that would be lame at this point in time. Brandon Leslie, why do you hate Taker's biker gimmick? I just always did. I just thought it was stupid. I know it was more reality based off of who he really was in real life, but I was a fan of the Dead Man and then even the Goth Dead Man. Biker Taker I always thought was stupid. I hated that. I can't even quantify in words necessarily why I do. I just do. Excuse me. Trey Johnson says, during Hogan's birthday celebration, I caught a glimpse of Xavier, Kofi, and Big E standing together on the ramp wearing similarly colored attire. Do you think this means the WWE is holding off on the new nation until some point after SummerSlam? It probably means more so that you're reading too much into it. I hope that's the case. I hope you're right, but I think you might be reading too much into it. James Kempster asked, do you think if the original ECW was still around, if they would have changed the style of the company compared to what it was? No, because ECW was what ECW was, and they were, targeted towards that male 18 to 34 testosterone-driven demographic, similarly to like a UFC. And I just don't think that Paul Heyman would have had the right creative vision to try and branch out of that, to try and change their product, to try and make it more mainstream. I just don't see it. So, no, I don't. Let's see here. David Verrett. Why doesn't WWE mention the fact that John Cena's first title match was against Brock Lesnar at Backlash 2003 and that the Attitude Adjustment started off as a ripoff of the F5? I don't know why they don't mention it about the Backlash title match. It's still, goes back to the whole thing of the stupidity of Cena beating Brock at Extreme Rules 2012 and now them trying to spin it. No, it doesn't work. The whole thing was Brock should have beat him then, so that way it looked like Cena actually truly had an obstacle to overcome, God forbid, heading into SummerSlam. But he's beaten Brock before. It's just, ugh. Stephan Elmagard Anderson is Daniel Bryan versus Chris Benoit dream match. I suppose in theory because Benoit's dead. So that's the only way it's going to happen. Let's see here. Looking at today's roster based off of either characteristics that come from David Benz, ring skills or mic work, who do you say are the modern day equivalents to The Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold, Taker, Angle, and Jericho? Why you got to ask me such in-depth questions? Too much thinking. The Rock? I don't think there's anybody with the total package of The Rock, and nor do I think there's anybody like The Rock in terms of on the microphone. So, nobody. In terms of Ambrose, maybe being Austin, that's what you put, and I would kind of agree with that. It kind of has that everyman kind of thing, something a little different. You said Reigns is like Triple H. In terms of Triple H, honestly, maybe the guy like a Cesaro, because the game wasn't always the game. Bray, like The Undertaker, like you said. Somebody like Kurt Angle, again, I don't know if they have anybody there. In terms of like a parody character, a Bo Dallas type would have worked, but obviously he's not a Kurt Angle. And then in terms of a guy like a Jericho, you put Dolph Ziggler. Oh, Christ. Do not compare Dolph Ziggler to Chris Jericho. Ever. 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 Again, sorry, I had to say that. Moises Enrique, should Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose main event SummerSlam? Maybe if you're doing it on WWE 2K14 or 15 or whatever the hell, but in the real world, no. Cena Lesnar is supposed to be the money match. It's for the title. That's the match that should main event the show. There's no question. Let's see here. Any other questions that look good that I want to answer? Juan Perea. Will Bray Wyatt take over the Undertaker role in the WWE if they don't pull the rug from under him? To a degree, perhaps, but we'll see. I mean, you're talking about Taker's role both on screen and behind the scenes. I think Bray's somebody that's endearing himself to the locker room. I think Bray will persevere over some of the stupid crap WWE's done with him the past few months, and he'll come out hopefully better for it. So you never know. It could happen. Josh Allen, would Yokozuna get over in today's WWE? I'll say this. The fact that he was almost 600 pounds, he's a fucking monster, that could have gotten him over. Because especially the fact that he could move and he could actually work a little in the ring, that might have worked. I'm not sure if they've been able to quite do the whole Japan thing. Frankly, I'd have maybe had him be from North Korea if you're doing it today. But, that's just is what it is. Thanks again to you guys that sent your questions in. I'll be back Monday for regular Twitter Q&A. Make sure you check out all the other great content. SummerSlam review series is done now. That's all on this channel. I'll be reviewing SummerSlam 2014 coming up this weekend as well. Stay tuned. Great content all weekend long here on OTRSCentral.